It's not about showing up once and hoping you get the conversion. It's about doing it again and again and again without pissing people off. So when they are ready, they think of you and ultimately convert. If you're new to the channel, I'm Selvi Perez. I'm the founder of AdConversion. We teach 8,000 plus B2B marketers how to master ads, and we manage over $3 million a month in ad spend for top B2B SaaS brands. In this video, you're going to learn how to create an omnipresent retargeting strategy across Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, YouTube, and X ads. Let's go ahead and start off by talking about what remarketing actually looks like today so that we can really paint this picture and then break it down. So this is what it actually looks like right now. It's like you are basically following people that have been to your website or done something where they've interacted with your brand online, and you're just like spamming them with these ads to just buy stuff. Like you're following them everywhere, and all they ever see is just things to purchase. It's kind of like the equivalent of like an e-commerce where it's like you saw that pair of shoes and now you go to like Instagram ads and now you see that shoe pair following you, and like you just can't escape it. You're just kind of caught in this loop of just people trying to sell you the same thing over and over again. Like that's the experience most people have with remarketing as a customer, and it's obviously not a very pleasant one. And this is like what you don't want to do, because remarketing is kind of one of these things where everyone knows they need to do it, but few people know how to actually do it in a pleasant way. And if you do this to the extreme, you could actually potentially hurt your brand, lose goodwill, and really just like piss people off, which is like really what we're not going for here. So here's how you can drive conversions and nurture with remarketing in 5 steps. I'm going to break down this entire process for you. So my goal is you walk away from this and you can really put this into practice. Number 1 is you want to choose your channels. The goal is to stay top of mind and be omnipresent. That happens when you're everywhere. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a whole ecosystem around our prospects. So like in this example, you imagine like your prospect at the center, and then we are reaching them across multiple platforms. Because if we want to be omnipresent, that means we need to be in as many places possible. So we're going to need to show up in multiple platforms. You want to think big fish, small pond to your buyer so that they think you are everywhere. And in reality, you've just got a really small, tiny remarketing budget spending $20 to $30 a day. So in practice, what this might look like is you're retargeting people who've been to your website in the last 30 days. It's not a very big audience, but you're retargeting them on Instagram ads, on YouTube ads, on LinkedIn ads. And to them, they think you're freaking huge. They're like, man, this brand is everywhere. I go to Instagram, I see them. I go to LinkedIn to see them. I go freaking everywhere. I cannot escape, right? Imagine like in their mind, they're like, you're huge. But the reality is you're spending 20, 30 bucks a day, 100 bucks a day, depending on how big your audience is. And that's where remarketing can become really powerful. Once you've decided on the channels that you want to focus on, the second thing you need to do is you need to create all of the retargeting segments that are available on those platforms. And again, we're going for omnipresence. So I really recommend as a starting point, you have 2 channels that you're doing retargeting on. So if you're B2B, I highly recommend LinkedIn and Meta, because that's going to cover the majority of placements. And then in the future, you can scale to YouTube, X, and other platforms. So what we want to do here is when we create our retargeting segments, we don't want to make the mistake of only relying on one time frame or one retargeting segment. So if you look here at this visual, we have multiple channels, and then we have different cohorts of time. And then underneath, we have all of the different segments, the ways in which we can retarget people underneath it. So for example, we have 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, and then we have all time. And then we have all these different ways we can retarget people. So people that have been to our website in the last 30, 90, 180 days, anybody that's been to our LinkedIn company page, anyone that's interacted with our document ads on LinkedIn, anyone that's been to past events, people that have opened our lead forms or submitted them, people who've interacted with our single image ads. So depending on the platform you're on, the different segments will vary. But the main thing I want to stress here is like you don't want to make this the trap of just relying on one single segment. So we're going to go ahead and combine these multiple segments by time frame together to really scale our remarketing audience size and to be able to give us that flexibility to layer on additional filters to improve quality. So for instance, if I was only relying on 30-day site remarketing, people who've been to my website in the last 30 days, then maybe I don't have as much flexibility versus if I group 30-day site remarketing, 30-day company page visitors, so on and so forth, all together, now maybe my audience size goes from 5,000 to 50,000. And now that gives me much more flexibility where I can layer in job functions on top of it if I'm on LinkedIn ads or some other things to just try to improve the quality of the people we're reaching in our retargeting audience. And I just want to stress this would not be possible if you only relied on website visitors, which most people do. So you want to go from this one very small segment audience size to multiple segments clustered together to beef up your overall reach. After we've created all of our retargeting segments for the platforms we've chosen, we're going to go ahead now and create all the exclusions by those timeframes. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to create this like seamless experience in the eyes of the user where they're going to move through these different cohorts and we're going to be able to showcase relevant offers because of the exclusions that we've set up. So what does this look like? This looks like excluding anyone that's been to your thank you page and filled out your form, anyone that's completed a lead gen form, any existing customers, competitors, partners, maybe any poor fit job titles or functions if you're on LinkedIn, any irrelevant company sizes. These are all the things that we want to exclude from our campaigns so we can create that seamless experience, right? So for instance, if I signed up for your webinar, I shouldn't be seeing your webinar ads anymore, right? Pretty straightforward, super important. So make sure you actually go ahead now and create all the exclusions that are relevant for you and your business, in addition to the ones that we have listed here. In addition to exclusions, we want to make sure that we exclude all 90-day remarketing segments from your 30-day campaigns, and then all 90-day segments from your 180 campaigns. So that way we create like that seamlessness. So basically anyone that's in your 30-day segment doesn't see anything from your 90-day segment, and vice versa, anyone from your 90-day segment doesn't see anything from your 180 segment. And this is going to really allow us to create like that orchestration where users are moving from these timeframes a bit more seamlessly. Now, just to be clear, you could get away with not having these exclusions because just based on the time frame that's different, they would enroll into the next one. But if you wanted to really guarantee it, creating these exclusions based on these timeframes also really helps create that sequencing. Now, if you don't have a large enough remarketing audience to segment by time frame, then I highly recommend that you just focus on 90 days as a starting point. So meaning if you don't have the reach to be able to do 30, 90, 180, then just focus on 90 and then group everything in 90 in terms of content and offers that we'll talk about, and just keep it simple as a starting point. After we've created our exclusions, now what we're going to do is we're going to split our remarketing budget in half. So 50% of the time, we're going to showcase valuable content. And then the other 50% of the time, we're going to actually present offers and we're going to try to get direct response. For our 30 to 90 day audiences, we're going to be focusing on promoting product marketing content and social proof content. I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples of what that looks like. So product marketing content, this is content that focuses on promoting the capabilities of your product. If you're a SaaS company watching this, I cannot stress the value of product marketing content. This is content that actually educates users on how your product actually solves their problems. And I think we are way too quick to jump into thought leadership type content, authoritative type content, and we just forget the base, most important type of content, which is product marketing content that actually educates people on how we're the real solution to their problems. Video content is actually my favorite type of content for this. So for instance, like you can see here from Optio, they have a video walking through a specific feature. This is really powerful stuff. For us with Sammy, our new SaaS that we launched, it's an ad automation platform. We're building videos that cover specific use cases and automations and workflows. And we're building one video for each workflow. And then we're pushing that in our retargeting audience. So people are getting educated through remarketing, which is really valuable. And the better job you do with product marketing content, when somebody does sign up eventually, whether it's through sales-led or product-led, the retention on that user will be much better and the conversion rates, because there's already so much education that went into them before they actually spoke to somebody or before they actually tried your product. The next one is social proof content. So social proof content is also fantastic for that 30 to 90 day time frame. And this is content that promotes your product through other people's, experiences, perspective, words, and results. So this is where other people saying how great you are, because if you're educating people and you're showing them, hey, here's how my product is awesome and how it solves your problems, the next logical thing that they're going to have is skepticism, where can this actually work for me? And that's where social proof is really powerful, because it's other people saying, hey, yeah, it worked for me. So then you can derive from that, oh, I guess it'll likely work for me as well. So social proof content, you can never have enough proof. And that's exactly what this is. For your 90 to 180 day audiences, you're going to want to then add in thought leadership content. Again, you don't want to make the mistake of rushing to add in thought leadership content right away. You really want to focus on making sure people understand the problem you solve and how you solve it, and how great you are from other people's perspectives. And then thought leadership content becomes even more important. Thought leadership content basically focuses on educating your target audience and positions you as the expert. So for instance, this YouTube video that you're watching right now, this is a form of thought leadership content. So if you're watching this and you're like, wow, this guy knows his stuff about retargeting, you're going to look us up at AdConversion.com. Shameless plug. And then you're going to see, wow, there's 3 ways that they can help us. They could, we could go and take their free courses and join their academy and further self-educate, or we could potentially work with their agency if we're a B2B SaaS, or we could use their software called Sammy to help us automate our ads. So thought leadership content is a great way to position yourself as authority, build brand will, good trust, etc. So that, in addition to showing people how you solve their problems and hearing from other people, you're also being the authority, you're being the source. That's also really, really powerful. But these are the 3 buckets of content that really allow us to create a delightful experience versus just annoying people all the time. Because we split our budget 50-50, 50% of the time, they're going to be seeing thought leadership, social proof, and product marketing, and they'll be seeing this mix of content in addition to our offers. So with the other 50% of our budget, we're going to go ahead and focus on those offers. So this could be demo requests, free trials, anything where you want people to take that next action in terms of their purchasing journey. Half the time we can do that. And just by making this, this one clear line through your budget saying 50% of the time we're doing content, 50% of the time we're doing offers, this will already put you in a position of 1 so that when people actually interact with your brand online, especially when you're doing this across channels, it's not just you like chasing them and saying, buy my stuff and, showing boring generic ads. No, you're actually making them smarter. You're helping them. You're educating them. You're solving problems for them. And of course, you're also trying to get them to take that next step because ultimately that's what you believe is going to help them get to the desired outcome that they want. So in summary, with this 50-50 split, you're now nurturing potential buyers, building credibility, and educating them on solutions and ultimately driving conversions, which is what we all want. This 5th point I really want to stress is you want to focus on retargeting based on action and not assumption. So this could be a separate campaign you could spin up. And basically what this is once a user decides to click on one of your offer ads, so maybe they go to your demo page, free trial page, or they're visiting your pricing page, case study pages, they have explicit intent, right? They have raised their hand in some way, shape, or form and said, hey, I'm actually interested in exploring your product a bit further because I've done this thing. So you now no longer have to assume that they're not interested or assume they're interested. They are because they went and they did those certain things that you declare as intent. So in this case, what you can do is now you can actually spin up a specific campaign where you retarget people based on the action they took. And now you can be a little bit more direct to try to get them to complete that action. So here's an example from Beehive. If you visit the Beehive pricing page, in this case, now you would then get a retargeting ad that would say something like on the fence about Beehive. There's no way they would be able to say copy like this and be this direct if they didn't know without a shadow of a doubt that it's because you went to their pricing page. So this is an example of this, direct response retargeting based on action versus assumption that you can do. And it's really cool because again, like now you can get a little bit more specific with your copy. You can try to move those high intent users further through that already had expressed intent in some way, shape, or form. So put all these things into practice and create your omnipresent retargeting strategy and replicate it across those platforms so that you can really build an incredible experience that not only drives conversions, but also positions yourself as the authority and builds and nurtures brand over time. I hope this video is valuable. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Really helps us grow our reach as a small channel, and subscribe so you can be notified of future videos. And when you're ready, come check us out at AdConversion.com and join our community of 8,000 plus B2B marketers and master ads with our free courses. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.